So, from just the anime, where the anime is right now alone, no. But I read all the manga, so I'm justified in cheating like this.
I mean, he has the ability to tell if you're a liar just by tasting you.
That's true.
That sounds really awkward out of context.
I mean, it's pretty awkward in context.
True.
That whole scene's awkward.
It's gloriously awkward, but yeah.
You taste like a liar.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で
Hello and welcome to Annie Chatbox episode 92, a special to end all specials because it's ending the year. This is part 1 of our end of the year special where we go through the stuff that we loved the most from this year with some honorable mentions as well and, load on a few extra gallons of salt per person depending on what ends up on somebody else's shit list and then maybe see if it affects somebody else's list as well. It's our end of the year thoughts, and we're really excited to have you guys here to discuss them with us. I'm looking forward to the comments and emails to follow, but for now we're going to discuss with each other. Before we go ahead and kick that off, and before I explain how this is going to work, I wanted to let you know about our social links because we got to get that part out of the way whether we like it or not. So, you can find us at twitter.com/AnnieChatbox. I finally stopped saying the. Really proud of myself. It's twitter.com/AnnieChatbox, not the Annie Chatbox, twitter.com/AnnieChatbox. I got it now, so should you. You can also write us emails at anniechatmail@gmail.com. That's all one word, at gmail.com, anniechatmail@gmail.com. We actually just had a email episode, and it was super fun. It was a great way to kick off having our new host on the show, and also just really getting caught up with what people have been thinking about the podcast. Specifically a couple of people, but that's still great.
Just don't sign your emails with sent from my iPhone or I'll fucking find you.
Okay.
Wow.
So if you're having fun listening to us, I don't know where you are, but just know that there's other places you can listen to us too. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can probably even listen to On Us, all of those, at the same time. Be crazy, be a multi-layered experience, go for it. Let me know how that goes for you. But you can check us out at every single one of them at one or all at the same time. Or pick and choose.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/AnnieChatbox. Again, doesn't have the, it's just Annie Chatbox. Patreon.com/AnnieChatbox. We have 2 loyal patrons at this point. They're both great. We have Suki, and we have Sarah CorpsyAnn, and both of them are helping us keep lights on in a lot of ways, actually. We're super, 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 super happy. They're so generous, especially at this time of the year. We're really, really excited to keep having you guys around, so thank you so much. If you'd like to join their ranks, you can do so at patreon.com/AnnieChatbox. And if you find it in your heart of hearts to go and hang out with another group of nerds, there's also soundcloud.com/saveourprogress. Also, if you particularly like Craig, he tends to be on a lot of those episodes, basically every single one of them.
Yep.
So if you love his smooth, docile tones, you can hear him again over there. So you can hear him twice a week instead of just one.
Hey, alright.
Or you could just move in with us and you can just hear him all the time. We could always use another roommate. These are trying times, guys. So there we go. That's all of those. So let's talk about who's here today. To my immediate left, looking like they're slightly spacing out, maybe trying not to yawn, we have the newest podcast host, Dominic.
You jinxed me.
Sure did.
Yeah, hi.
Hey. In the direct moon next door, yes, room next door, we have Craig.
Didn't
I'm on the
Craig
moon?
lived on the moon.
Craig's on the moon.
How am I alive?
I'm just gonna let you guys know, like, full exposure. I didn't sleep for basically 24 hours yesterday. Took another Ambien on top of all my other medication last night, and I don't know if it's all gone, and these crazy people are still letting me host, so we're in for a wild ride. Craig's on the moon. Moving a little further across the United States, we have the ever beautiful and cinnamon roll of the podcast, Cammie.
Hello there, everybody. Let me just say, all I want for Christmas is for us to have an iTunes review. So,
Oh my god, please.
please, we will read it on air.
Jesus. Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be super nice. Just be like moderately gentle. But you can give us anything. You could just write, "Hey, here's an iTunes review." We'll be so happy.
Yeah, because we'll have something. It'll be something.
I won't be happy. You better put your all into it.
You didn't hear that from me.
Me either.
I don't stick for this half-ass shit. If you're gonna write us an iTunes review, I want like a scalding, harsh criticism of everything we can do better, and then like at the end you can maybe touch us gently and say like one thing you liked.
Does it also need to be like an MLA format?
MLA format
With a works cited page?
Yeah, basically there has to be timestamps for everything that we did wrong.
Footnotes to the specific episodes.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be great. Anyway, so across the ocean, we have another host who is not on the moon, but may as well be for how far fucking away they are. Jonathan Joestar.
Hello, everyone.
You can always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You won't have to be on the proverbial moon.
I would like to come back again and visit again.
How was work?
Work was fine. There was a point where I was like, oh no, are they gonna need me to stay late? I can't stay late. And it was like, no, we're good. Okay. Yay.
They actually are still working you in spirit at work right now. You left a part of yourself there. That's how capitalism works.
Oof.
You never actually leave. That's why you're always tired forever.
Yeah, makes sense.
But we're not talking about political views today. We're talking about the end of the year.
Yay!
Oh, it's already off to a good start.
It is.
So, speaking of good starts, so the way we're going to roll this out is each of us has a top 6 list for this year. We all ranked and kept them secret from each other, but 6 anime from 2018 from the winter, spring, summer, and fall season. They're all applicable, even if they're not finished yet, as long as they have started airing in fall of 2018. You are allowed to discuss them. I think last year Craig ended up having Ancient Magus Bride on his list. So that's how it works. Now, if something, however, did finish or start last year in 2017 and ended in the beginning of 2018 or any other time in 2018, it still counts. So something that was on our fall list for 2017 last year could carry over to winter of 2018 this year, depending. They are special anime. They get to have 2 chances as long as they're fucking long enough. But 2 core anime doesn't happen that often, so I'm willing to give it a pass. So, those were the only qualifications to make it into our top 6. We each have our own top 6, and then we have little tiny fun awards scattered throughout. Alright, so that being said, I'm going to be the guinea pig and hope that I don't crash and burn. Again, people letting me host and go first. So, I'm going to kick off with my top 6 anime of 2018 and 2 optional honorable mentions. So let's go ahead and start. So at the bottom of my list at number 6, I put Yuru Camp because there's absolutely no way that I cannot have Laid Back Camp on my list.
Good show.
What's that look for?
Don't worry. Don't worry, you'll see.
I'm so terrified. Anyway, so Laid Back Camp is one of those shows that had this really weird this really weird kind of relationship with, where I was like, it's just a cute girls doing cute things anime, Cassie. It can't be that important. It can't be that critically acclaimed. But dear God, is it so much fun and it just makes me happy. So fuck you people, it's on my list.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it has a lot of pointless fluff to it, but that fluff made me happy. And sometimes you just watch things to make you happy and also inspire you to go and buy a camping set and then not actually still go camping yet, but you're still trying to figure it out. If an anime can make you do that, I think that it's doing a really good job.
Oh, we still have that stuff.
We do. I am going to go camping, guys.
Hopefully not anytime soon, because it's cold out there.
It may not happen in 2018. But by the end of 2019, we'll check back in, but I will go fucking camping, and it'll be Eurocamp's fault.
Damn right.
I don't know if anybody else has something to say about Eurocamp really fast, but otherwise I'll move. I literally have nothing else I can say about it other than it just really makes me happy. I really like Nadeshiko, the main character. She's just so fun and very me. I find her quite relatable, especially the parts where she runs into windows and stuff falls on her.
I couldn't go an episode without finding something to eat because it made me hungry.
It really did. It was also really nicely animated.
Yeah.
It had really nice music. Like, it had a really unique
Yeah.
soundtrack. Like, the whistly kind of one, I don't remember what it was called, but that pops into my head. The one where the monologue guy will always pop in
Mm-hmm.
and talk. I love that song. It's just so fun.
Secret Society of Blanket.
It's fun. It's just a really good show, and it definitely is an anime that really cemented its place in my heart this year. So that is my number 6.
That clip with Rin, I believe her name was, basically seeing the dogs, and then the one goes to her, then she smirks because it can't get to her because of the leash, and the other just like literally like headbutts her into the gut, and it makes like a Dragon Ball Z sound effect where she gets like essentially knocked over. Gets me every time. It's a good show.
Every time. It's got some pretty good comedy gold moments. Okay, moving to my number 5. So my number 5 was actually the most contested thing on my list. I actually had a harder time picking my number 5 than anything else on this goddamn list. At the end, it came down to between Zombieland Saga and Asobi Asabase.
Oh.
And at the time, the reasons why were they were both comedies that really, really got me. I didn't expect them to do what they did, especially in their first episodes. However, Zombieland Saga made me cry, so it's my number 5. That goes to show how interesting a show it really is, and that it can make you laugh within the first 5 minutes off shock value, and then it can have you crying by the end of episode like 8. It does a lot of really interesting things that I haven't seen in anime in a long time. It doesn't do them all the time with polish or purpose, but it's just such a different anime that it deserves to be talked about, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up on a couple of our lists this year, or at least in some of our mini awards. It's just impacted a lot of people, and it's a very special anime this year, so it's my number 5.
That's awesome.
Right. I myself like it for multitudes of reasons. I feel as though the comedy kind of like was caught me, and Mamoru Miyano's character is just so extra and over the top, and his dub equivalent is just as good, IMO. And the way they handle the characters and give character development to all of them is really well done.
Yep. Moving on to my number 4 for this year, Hugto Precure.
What?
Wow, you harmonized on that.
What are you wooting for? Were you
No,
expecting it to be higher, lower, not there at all? What was the wood?
Oh, I just wanted to do that because you have a Precure on your top.
I
anime
do.
2018.
It is my first. Like, I've watched some other Precures, or I've started a couple of other Precures. I started, dear God, Precure all something.
Kira Precure a la mode.
Kira Precure a la mode, and I started Go Princess Precure. And neither of them really clicked with me. Go Princess was fun. I'm still waiting. Guys, for it to I'm sure I trust your taste.
I suck.
But Hugto Precure, I watched without expecting anything, and it's slowly becoming like one of my favorite magical girl shows, period. And it's also just such a really cool and progressive show. There's some really interesting stuff going on with gender identity, fluidity, boys being empowered in a show normally targeted towards girls. And especially since it's a children's show, I really, really appreciate that. I'm saying boy only because I have no idea what he identifies as, and they always use that pronoun, but he seems to be a gender fluid character, so they might be a better word. They have at least someone who exhibits that gender fluidity, somebody who's willing to wear dresses and go out there and say, I think one of the lines was boys can be princesses too.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool. They also tackled some very interesting dynamics on what it means when a family has expectations for what a girl should be. And how she overcomes those. They tackle things such as depression, fear of the unknown, things that are really heavy topics but are being handled at a level that children can really understand, and I can appreciate that. So yes, I love Hugto Precure. It's my number 4 for the year. It's beautiful. It's sparkly. Fure fure watashi.
I feel like the thing that I love the most, at least so far about Hugto, is that, like, when I have approached in my mind in the past being like, oh, I could try to get into Precure, where do I start? I feel like there's not a very, like, easy, direct, like, oh yeah, this is a great starting point. I feel like it's been very convoluted. I feel like Hugto, and I watched the first episode, I feel like Hugto at this point is a great first Precure to get into, and I think that is really awesome, and I'm excited to watch it for our show.
It also has some really great Sakuga moments. Like, there are some moments in that show that are animated better than some of the stuff I've seen in years. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
I mean, that's, yeah, most of the best Precure shows have moments like that. It's like the playground for Toei's
Animators.
Up and coming peoples.
they're up and coming, and all of their like best animators basically.
Getting to show off their chops, as it were.
Yeah.
All right, I've been gushing about Hugto. I'm gonna move on. So my number 3, I tried to write the Japanese title, and then it got smushed into the English title. So I'm just gonna say the English title because it's easier to say. Run with the Wind is my number 3, and that show, I think it literally could compete with my number 2 if it was finished. Because my number 2 just had such a satisfying conclusion and message that it just edged out Run with the Wind. But Run with the Wind is like the show that I'm looking forward to watching. I'm behind one episode and it is killing me every single day. I need to catch up. It has this sports anime feel to it that I've come to grow close to over the last few years, but it's got this nice new shine to it where it has an older cast with older cast problems, and I think that the bonds that they're building feel so much more real and long lasting because of that.
I could see that.
Yeah, not that I'm saying that of course the people who are in high school anime are not shown to have great bonds, but there's something about adult friends making adult friends that just, I don't know, there's something about it that just resounds to me, and that teamwork and the ability to come together as people who have totally different life plans is just so much more impactful. In addition to the show just being beautifully animated and having amazing music, and it's just really good.
Heck yeah.
All right, my number 2, Place Further Than the Universe.
Good shit.
Place Further Than the Universe is one of the best animes of the year. It is my number 2. It is amazing. It is beautifully animated. It has beautiful music. All of the characters are well written and fleshed out. And I said that Run with the Wind impacted me because they were adults with adult problems that are able to form a unit. With A Place for Them in the Universe, they are high school girls, but they are making adventures and memories and learning life lessons that'll affect them for their entire lives. And that can be a message that can resonate with children, adults, teenagers, anyone. So I think it's a very timeless story. It taught me to like try and seize the day. Still trying to actually do it, but it gave me hope, and I think that that's really important. Also, penguins.
Lots of penguins.
That show made me cry so hard, too. I cried like a little baby, and then I sent images to my friends to remind them why I was crying, and then they said, Cassie, what the fuck, I just stopped crying. And then I started crying. It was a trip. I actually watched a few of the last episodes with a friend of the podcast / sometimes co-host Suki, or guest host Suki, and we both just were in utter silence. And the only other time that that's ever happened is when I was watching Rakugo Shinju with Cammy. So, sometimes you're just so impacted by something that your immediate reaction is just silence. And I think that's a sign of a really good show.
Right on.
Anybody want to guess my number 1 anime of the year?
I mean, I hope it's what I think it is.
Everybody take guesses.
I'm honestly stumped.
Craig, what do you think it is?
Gridman?
John, what do you think?
I haven't got a clue.
Oh, no, I know what it is. Sorry.
What do you think it is?
I think it's March Comes In Like a Fucking Lion season 2.
That's what I think it is, yeah.
And you guys would be right!
Yeah!
Okay, yeah. So I said last year, and if you go back and listen to last year's episodes, I will find a way to talk about March Comes Like a Lion every year. I will find a way. I don't know if it's going to be, oh, hey, guys, suddenly there's a manga award on our list. Or, oh, hey, guys, Best Sons of Ever award list. Or, I will fucking find a way every year. This is the second year in a row that they've made it easy because it had the second half of its second season running in winter of this year. And it is one of the most impactful series I have ever watched. I will own those Blu-rays someday. I might have to wait until I'm rich, but I will do it.
You can sell one of your kidneys.
I might.
There we
I
go.
mean, that's a good idea. Or you could donate plasma. I mean...
Selling my kidney would be worth it to own March Comes In Like a Lion.
There you go.
I'm just saying. It's one of, like, the best shows I've seen, period. It's right up there with Rakugo Shinju.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up there because it just does such a really good job of fleshing out characters throughout several seasons without making them boring or without giving them too much or too little. It makes you care about a large cast, which is a difficult thing to do. It explores new characters while giving them the same impact as people who've been there with you the entire ride. It's beautifully animated. It's haunting. It's a great dive into the effects and the overall feeling of depression, loneliness, and coming out of that, and how things aren't always going to be better right away, that a healing process can be slow, and that's okay. And I love this show so much. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Guys, if you're gonna watch any anime from the last 2 years, please watch Rakugo Shinju, and please, for the love of God, watch Sangatsu no Lion or March Comes In Like a Lion. It's one of the best anime to come out in the last decade, and you need to watch it. You're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yep. The only thing I was going to say is that now you have 2 years in a row of a season 2 being your top anime of the year.
Oh my god, it's true.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Just goes to show, guys. Sequels.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming for you. I was the first victim. Let's see who's next year. Or maybe this year. I don't know. I'm the first to go. Okay, I gave everybody the option to either mention something either from this year that didn't make their list that came out in 2018, or to go ahead and pick something that they watched this year that may have come from a different year but they still watched in 2018 that you want to give a couple quick shout outs to. Originally, I had down Children of the Whales, which I'm still going to really quickly just say, hey, go and read the manga. It's really good. I've read the first volume and a half. It's great. Anime's on Netflix. Go check it out. But it actually got edged out by SSSS.Gridman because I'm actually really starting to love that show just based entirely on its antagonist and her backstory and how very interestingly woven a new world is done without showing you everything. It's one of those shows that doesn't show you its whole hand, and then you go back and you skim episodes while you're editing a MEP part that you didn't want to be doing, but you start having little light bulbs go off in your head and you're like, fuck, this show is so good.
Yes, I love that.
It's so good. Like the first episode, it shows this scene that seems like just a very like flowery introduction kind of way of showing things, very artsy fartsy, very trigger, and then you relate it to events that, as of the time of this recording, that we're going on in episode 9, I believe is the most recent one we watched. Or was it
actually
10?
I believe 10.
10, sorry. And I'm like, aw, shit, son. And that made me go, okay, I listen. Children of the Whales is good. It ain't that good. So SSSS.Gridman is a really good show. It's super underrated. People need to be giving it a shot. Don't let the CG throw you. Embrace it. It's part of the aesthetic and the experience. It means something for me to say that. That show's good. Also from this year.
Actually, 11 just came out.
Yep, 11 did.
By the time this recording comes out,
The whole show will be done.
yeah, the whole show will be done. So, but yeah.
Which we are going to do our best to catch up on that today. But up until where I've watched, the show is phenomenal. It's really good. It couldn't make my top list, but a bunch of shows from the fall season were already on my top list, so I can't be that much of a cop-out. It's really good, though. I didn't watch a lot from summer this year, I found out.
Yeah,
You'll
same.
find out when you're, like, doing the list, you're like, damn, summer was my season where I didn't watch shit. And in spring, I watched 2 shows. Aw, fuck. Anyway, so my other honorable mention is going to go to Girls Last Tour, which is a show that we ended up reviewing for the show this year that came out last year.
Oh my god.
It's really good. I'm not saying it just because it's fun to hear Cammy make squeaking noises, though that's part of it. This show meant a lot to her, and I put off watching it for forever because we were just so overloaded. But I was looking forward to it, knowing that it's something that heavily impacted Cammy, and after I watched it, I figured out why. It's not a show for everyone. Definitely go listen to our review on it. It's one of our most recent ones, and I think it's one of our better ones at expressing exactly why we enjoyed something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want full thoughts on it, go listen to that. But it's a really, really good show from 2017, guys. You should definitely check it out, especially if you're really feeling like some existentialism and dread, but also a cute moe palette.
I love your face.
It's a good show. God, I'm winded.
Yeah, you talked a lot.
I sure did. I still get to talk some more.
You do.
So we're moving on to our first mini. This actually happened to Cammy last year.
Yes.
Where she was talking for 20 years and then she was also the first person on the... I guess we're just giving her a break this year. We're letting her go last in a lot of ways. She deserves it. Anyway, so we're moving on to our first mini award of the night, and that is the Baewatch Award, which is our respective best boy and girl of 2018. Or, best characters of 2018, however you want to word it. I'm going to go ahead and give my best girl first. Nadeshiko Kagamihara.
There you
Good
go.
God.
I'm proud of you.
She has the biggest mouthful last name. Frack. Anyway, so I really liked Eurocamp this year. I loved her a lot. She was just so bubbly and fun. It was hard for me to hate her. I just really enjoy every little piece of merchandise I see of her too, which is a problem.
Yeah.
There were a few other girls this year that really made an impact on me, and if I could talk about them all day I would, but I won't. I just wanted to go with the one that every time I see her I just feel warm inside. It's why Eurocamp was my number 6, and it's why Nadeshiko will be my best girl of 2018 from Eurocamp. Best boy, Kiriyama Rei, because I will find a way to talk about March Comes In Like a Lion as often as I can until the day I die. He is one of the best developed characters just in general in anime in the last couple of years. He's seen a lot of growth where I think a lot of people will look at a person just in real life and say, wow, they have not changed at all. And from the outside, Rei may not have changed very much, but to the people closest to him, he's been making so many big changes in how he takes care of himself, but also in how he's willing to open up to others, but also in how he's willing to realize his own faults. I think one of my favorite moments of the second season, without getting into spoilers, is there's a character that Rei really doesn't like, and he's compared to that character, and a lot of the people who are around him are like, yeah, dude, you are just like him. You are so selfish. And he's never thought about it before. And there's just so much character growth internally and externally that happens with Rei that makes him just a good character, not just a best boy or a best son or please protect, just a good person. And I love him. And he's so good. Someone needs to stop me. I'm just gonna keep going.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, so I'm not gonna stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's also your front runner best boy 2 years in a row. And honestly, I'm just waiting for a day that will probably never come where a different boy could edge him out. Like if March Comes In Like a Lion was running every year, your best boy would just
every year. It's just Rei Curie. He's too good, guys. It's just a very impactful show with very impactful characters. And to say that the main character is my favorite is something that doesn't happen a whole lot. So definitely kudos to Kiri Yamare. So if you're still listening at this point and you're like, wow, there's actually other people on the podcast outside of this lady who's been talking for about a good 45 minutes, I'm glad to let you know it's actually probably been less than that. I don't know. I've been talking so much my head's is hurting. It's been 30 minutes. I've been talking for a half an hour. Let's give somebody else a chance to talk. So why don't you tell me about your best girl and your best boy of the year, Jonathan Joestar?
Okay, so I put down I was actually humming and hawing about best girl for a bit, but I ended up putting down Aya Fujisawa, aka Ayame from Gundam Build Divers, as my best girl of the year. As many faults as there are with that series, I just really enjoyed Ayame as a character. Like from the moment she was introduced and the intrigue, it was like, what is this ninja girl and what's going on with her? And just as we got to know more about her, especially her being like in the back, getting all giddy over something cute and then trying to hide it and pretend like, no, she's this tough, badass girl that doesn't do cute things, but totally does.
So yeah, the ninja girl is what I was wondering, because I know Cassie made a video for your birthday featuring her as well. And yeah, it looks like she has a really sweet story.
And she had a bit of a character arc, and I just really enjoyed watching her character arc. It's just such a shame she got kind of shoved to a side after her arc was finished, and it's like, but badass ninja girl. As for best boy, I was not humming and hawing about this choice. It was I've put down Sosuke Sagara from Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory.
Okay.
So, Full Metal Panic got a new series this year, and I got to see Sosuke continuing to be a badass most of the time, bit of a goofball. Well, not intentionally a goofball, but messing it up because he's too serious in not so serious situations. And yeah, just he's one of my favorite characters out there. He's definitely up there.
I remember that with watching through Divers, is going back to your best girl. I think Ayame was one of the better parts of that show, so I can see why she would stick with you up until the very end of the year. I know you loved her a lot. I know nothing about this Full Metal Panic dude, but he looks fun.
He's voiced by my favorite voice actor.
Ooh.
So, I can respect that choice.
Look at the respect going around. Well, since you're already talking, how about you talk to us about your best girl and best boy of the year?
Okay. My best girl is Emiru Aisaki from Hokuto Precure, also known as Kira Mashari.
Nano desu.
Nano days.
Yeah. She is my favorite just because of how relatable she is. She starts out with the show like she's not like one of the initial like precures in the show, but she gets introduced like fairly well before she actually like debuts as a magical girl.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers, but I mean it's pretty obvious. But and she debuts fairly early before to like get, and this is a nice thing that Hokuto kind of does compared to some other seasons, is they debut the girl well before she actually becomes like a magical girl, and they give her time to like build up and like, actually like become like a character and like have this revelation and like developed before they debut in the actual show as like a mainstay, which is nice. And she's like, she comes in and she like so desperately wants to be a hero, and she's like dressing up in like shoulder pads and like
Yeah.
bicycle gear and like making poses and stuff, and it's the cutest fucking thing.
Aw.
And she's just so precious. And she also wants to be like a rock star, and she practices guitar, but her family is like this, noble, like upstart family, and they don't like understand why a girl like her would want to do something like that, and she has to like prove herself that it's okay for her to be into that sort of thing. She's just precious. And she also has her wonderful robot girlfriend, and it's wonderful. And I love her, and she's just good. She's just precious.
Very good.
And my best boy, and this is slightly cheating because I've read the manga, but my best boy is Bruno Bucciolati from
Yes.
JoJo Part 5. And so I'm cheating partly because I've read the manga. I know everything that happens to him. Because I think right now it's a little too early to just go from the anime and be like, that's my best boy.
I was gonna say the same, because like he's probably like one of my favorites so far, just based on aesthetic and presence alone.
Yeah.
But not enough to be like, wow, best boy of 2018. Let me tell you. So
Yeah.
definitely, I
Yeah,
get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So from just the anime, where the anime is right now alone, no. But I read all the manga, so I'm justified in cheating like this.
I mean, he has the ability to tell if you're a liar just by tasting you.
That's true.
That
He
sounds really awkward out of context.
I mean, it's pretty awkward in context.
True.
That whole scene's awkward.
It's gloriously awkward. But
You
yeah,
taste like a liar.
he's just very cool. I like his power, where he can like create zippers
Yeah.
on things and like disconnect body parts and everything. And there's also just this part, and like just the way he's also like the pseudo main character of this actual part. Like he's not the JoJo, but Bucciolati's the main character of Part 5. I'm sorry.
He really is. They list him as a dual antagonist on it, or a duotagonist, and I'm like, he's got way more personality than Giorno does, but again, I'm much like you, read all of Part 5, so I know a lot more than where the anime currently is.
But yeah, so yeah, he's just super cool, and the way his story unfolds, also there's like a really cool twist with him later on in the show that we haven't gotten to yet, that I'm excited to see unfold and talk about. Maybe, I don't know, we're not talking about JoJo, are we?
No.
I don't think it got passed, but we can always just mention it in casual discussion regardless.
We can. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. He's cool. I like him a lot. That's my picks.
Okay, cool. Craig, you're up.
Alright, for my best girl, I have Anzu from Hinamatsuri. I'm glad that it warrants that reaction. That proves that she is a good girl, and God, what Hinamatsuri, man. I did not expect to actually, like, care for this character, because she starts out as kind of like a bratty, like, punk kind of character, and then she becomes very humbled because she goes through a lot of shit, and then you're like, oh, you precious girl, everyone will protect you, and you deserve everything under the sun. If I recommend Hinamatsuri, just watch it for her, just flat out, because that's one of the great reasons to watch that show.
Do it for Anzu.
Best boy I have written here.
I'm excited to hear you pronounce this.
Yes. Yeah, best boy is what Zach dubs the Vape Wizard's son. Lin Shui Ya from Thunderbolt Fantasy Season 2, otherwise known as Thunderbolt Fantasy Sword Seekers 2.
As someone who studied Chinese, you didn't do that bad, honestly.
Thank you.
Hey.
Fucking, this guy, we all watched Thunderbolt Season 1. You all know his thing where he's kind of coy and he's very charismatic, yet at the same time always is kind of like a troll in the process. This continues to be the trend with this character, but in more of a like sarcastic sort of way. Dom knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Where
yeah. Oh.
there's a glorious
Yeah,
scene
dude.
where he literally stops something with his bare hand and says, "Well, that's what I was expecting." God, this guy, he's such a trickster, and the schemes in his brain that he tries to pull off to fuck with characters is amazing. And again, that's another reason to at least give that show a shot. Not only the like name behind the show, but just this character, he's worth it.
I also just like how in the most recent episode, as of this recording,
Yeah.
where one of his schemes like just doesn't go the way he wanted it to.
And then he just says, "Fuck it, I'm done."
He's like, "Fuck this," and he's like so mad. It's like a sign of him that you don't see like at any other point in time, and he's just so mad, and it's really funny.
I don't want anything to do with this individual. Fuck them. Fuck my scheme. God, this isn't worth it. I'm out.
Me every Friday, only to come back to work on Monday.
I mean, where's the lie, though?
All right, now we're on to Cammy.
Hello there.
And this is the part where she reveals that Joker is her best boy of 2018, not when he appeared in his respective anime, but when he saved Smash.
When he's...
I mean, that was an anime trailer. I mean, technically it was
Yeah.
anime.
I just want everybody to go and look at Cammy's Twitter. That's the
I
only
just
reason
changed
I
it,
said.
but I will
Darn
go
it.
back and change it for authenticity.
Nah, you're fine. You should just go ahead and tell us what was your Twitter handle for the longest time? Tell me.
My Twitter handle, after seeing that Joker was in fucking Smash, it was Cammy, smash me please, Joker.
God bless. God fucking bless. Okay, now you can actually talk. Sorry, I hijacked you.
No, I'm glad to. I mean, yeah, honorable mention. It's always worth mentioning my Persona 5 thirst. Okay, so for my best girl for 2018, pretty predictable, is Hina from March Comes In Like a Lion season 2. It's really easy for me to just reiterate, like, if you go back and listen to our review of March Comes In Like a Lion season 2, Hina's just a really exceptional girl. There was a Crunchyroll, like, little thread during Mental Health Week, and they were like, who's a character that inspires you, like, mental health wise? And I was like, Hina is that girl for me. She works really hard. She shoulders a lot of pain, but at the same time, she really tries her best to, like, be there for the people around her. She's incredibly thoughtful for how young she is. She's just very strong, and I really, really like that in a lot of Chika Umino's works. Like, her young characters, she shows that there's a lot more to them than maybe, like, the soft, like, kind of fun, cutesy side of them. You know, there's really a lot to them. And, you know, with Hina, there were so many times this year that, like, when I needed it, like, and she would cry, I would cry, I, like, cried with her. It was really weird, but I was able to channel just a lot of, like, my personal stresses, like, through her, and so I just had a really deep connection, and I'm really proud of all the things she did in season 2, so she gets best girl. She's great. And my best boy is not a human. It is Honda-san from Skull-Faced Bookseller Honda-san.
Oh, what a good
So,
boy.
Yeah, he's great. Honda-san is just this really, like, over-polite, very sweet, anxious book-selling skeleton. And he deals with so many different things, like very abrasive, like, fans who are looking for Japanese erotic manga. And
Erotic manga.
he has to field a lot of, like, crazy customers, and I love that we get the internal side of him where he's, like, spewing blood and he's, like, screaming about things, and then he just kind of stutters and is trying to be really polite. And you know what, at the end of the day, even when he deals with crazy people, he's able to see the good in them or appreciate them as they are. He never shows animosity to people or his job, even though he can express like that it is at times stressful for him. He's just a really good skeleton, and he also is writing a manga, and like the end credits are so precious that shows him like working. It shows him walking home looking at the stars, and then he works on his manga. Then he reads manga and falls asleep with the manga on his face, and he goes to bed, and I'm like, fuck, I love this skeleton. So yeah, he gets best boy. He's great.
He sounds like a really good boy. We only watched the first episode of this show, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and during it, I was like, honey, if we ever go to Japan, you can't do this.
Japanese erotic manga.
The girl's like holding up a sign. She's like, I am Swedish. Please give me yaoi books or something like that.
Special
I can't
the
remember.
dad. The dad.
Yes. I think the only other thing I'll mention about Honda as well is that I think a lot of his character is really sold by the voice actor. Like, major credit to the voice actor. He is great. You know, the art is expressive, but like he's able to catch nuance into a skeleton that doesn't have a huge range of emotion. So real shout outs to that Seiyu.
Definitely. Okay, so that basically ends and rounds out our Baewatch award. I guess moving on now to the next top 6 list. We all get to take a rest, except for John, who now gets to talk for a very long, extended amount of time. Hope you're having fun, buddy. Tell us about your top 6 of the 2018... I almost said season. The 2018 year, in addition to some couple, honorable mentions, if you'd like.
So, number 6 for me this year was Pop Team Epic.
Wow!
Whoa.
That's surprising!
Suki's gonna love you!
Suki is going to make a fan club around you. Shit! Tell me more.
So, yeah, this series caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it at all, to be honest. But then I just end up getting dragged along for the ride pretty much at first, but then I end up really enjoying it, and like, as I'm sure I mentioned when we was actually reviewing it, ever since it's like there'd be a thunderstorm period, I'll be like, damn you, lightning! You're not even scary! And just like moments where I'm just remembering some of the gags from it and just end up chuckling to myself and just brightening up my day. And just a bit of a hindsight of like how much I did enjoy this series. That I felt it would be a disservice not to include it somewhere in my top 6 for the year.
That's really cool.
So number 5 is Yuru Camp.
Woo! 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 2 lists in a row. Whoop.
So yeah, this is another comfy out of 10 series. And Cassie kind of already gushed about this. So I'll keep this fairly short. But yeah, I enjoyed watching these characters interact with each other. Rin getting her parcel, Desko enjoying food, all that stuff. All that good stuff. Right, number 4. Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory.
Oh, hey.
Aw, hey.
The only reason why this is so low on the list is because it feels like there's more series that needs to come, and I haven't heard anything of it being made. But beyond that, what is actually in the series of Invisible Victory, I really enjoyed. The fights were action-packed. Getting used to seeing the mechs from from Full Metal Panic suddenly being CG didn't take long, because they were still very nicely animated. And yeah, Sasuke Saga, best boy for me this year. So now on to number 3. I have put down Gundam Build Divers as my number 3 pick for the year.
That's surprising. Cool.
Again, there's just some shortcomings to the series that stopped me from putting it higher. But I've been really enjoying it. I've really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the characters. I love Gundams. I love seeing the Gundams and like figuring out, especially in the Build series, how they've taken these Gundams from other series, these mobile suits and Gundam kits from other series, and changed them and made them their own and something new. And that's something that I'm going to latch on to with every Build series that they make. So I'm already looking forward to the next Build project that they've announced. I'm hoping it's going to be good, but for this one, I still really enjoyed it. And yeah, Ayame is my best girl for this year, so I gotta have this on my list as well.
Right on.
Number 2 is actually Zombieland Saga.
Ooh.
Again, this was not what I was expecting, not what I signed up for, but man, am I enjoying it. All the characters are just such a delight to see in one way or another. Like, seeing the girls interact and like scramble to try and get this thing going and keep everything on track. Even when one of the girls is like popping apart, it seems. Literally.
Literally.
But number 1 for me for this series, for this year, has to be A Place Further in the Universe.
Called it! Yes! I was gonna say, should we all guess what your number 1 is?
Oh,
That was
yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
my
I
guess.
should have given you that.
No, you're fine. I feel like a lot of us may have thought. I'm totally fine with it too. This I thought this was gonna be it. I'm so
I'm
happy.
happy with it.
Yeah, just seeing these girls achieve, like, have this goal and like put everything towards making it, and actually seeing them finally achieve their goal, all their hard work pay off, and actually getting to go in the first place was a ride. And then them on the boat and there, and just all the emotions that they went through because of all the emotions they went through. Yeah, I had to put this as my number 1 for the year.
What a show, man.
I
Good
mean,
shit.
hey, it's already made 2 of 5 lists, so I'd say it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, my bonus honorable mentions for the year. I'm chuckling because the first one I want to mention is Girls Last Star.
Well, Cammy's just shooting. She's just shooting up to bat and knocking him out of the park, isn't she?
1, 2, 3, te aruki dase.
I still catch myself going do 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 do. And like that MP3 was on my MP4 player, and it came up every so often. I was like, well, what's this from? I don't remember. And like, apparently I downloaded it at some point, even before I'd actually watched the series. So,
Oh, wow.
But yeah, after I'd watched the series, I enjoyed that track coming up even more, because I'd keep remembering them either dance with the water buckets on trying to take shelter from the rain, or dancing on the roof while drunk. And yeah, Cassie already said a lot about this series already, so... My other honourable mention from this year of a series that I watched this year, though of course did not come out this year, was I really enjoyed rewatching Tanaka Market.
Aw, yay.
Interesting.
Yeah, not sure what to say about that beyond like...
Nice bird.
I mean, there is a nice bird.
Nice bird.
Nice bird.
Nice bird.
That's cool that you have a rewatch, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's neat.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that was a pretty cool and informative list. I was actually surprised a number of times. I'm still reeling from the Pop Team Epic. I'm so happy that I'm happy that made it onto somebody's list. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Next thing we're gonna do is another mini award. So everybody start getting out your tugboats and your whistles because we're going to our Shiipp award, also known as your favorite couple OTP, however you'd like to call it, award of 2018. And just like last time, I'll go ahead and kick us off. Special shout-outs to Cammy on this one, because originally I was going to do a completely different couple. I actually had a really hard time with this one, but then she pointed out to me, hey Cassie, OVAs count, and I'm like, I actually don't know if they do, but I'm gonna let them count anyway because I want to talk about it. So my couple pairing, canon couple, actually, not just a ship, but totally 150% canon, go me, is Yui Yamada and Tomoka Kase from Kase-san in the Morning Glories, or it's got several other titles, but for our intents and purposes, I'll call it just Kase-san. It's just, I just really felt an attachment to this couple, not only because they are a beautiful lesbian couple, but also because they support each other in a lot of very typically muted things that go on in a relationship, such as what they feel are huge insecurities, but minor insecurities that happens in like all relationships, minor communication issues that they clear up together quickly. This is actually also way more prevalent in the manga, so I would definitely recommend reading it as well. Unfortunately, at this point, we've only gotten an OVA and a music video, but it's just wholesome good. We very rarely get this in the Yuri sphere, especially something that's popular in the Yuri sphere. So I just was so floored by this. I'm so happy that I finally sat down and read the manga and also watched the OVA. Kase-san is just such a good, like, wholesome, happy, warmy, feel-good time. I don't know if I can sit here and talk about them much longer, but they are a good, healthy couple. And in a sea of either abusive couples, not just Yuri couples, but couples in general, that are fetishized in anime and media as a whole, it's nice to just sit down with somebody and experience their life in a romantic sphere. And also, just knowing for sure that they're actually a thing is nice. So,
Always.
So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and move this. I think that this is going to be a pretty, probably quick category, but that's who gets my award. Let's go ahead and move on to John.
I was another one I've been saying I've been humming and hawing about a lot of my answers. This was one of them, but I ended up putting down my favorite couple from the year as Hiro and 02 from Darling in the Franxx. As much a train wreck as that series was,
Even John admits it's a train wreck.
I mean, nobody says it's not a train wreck.
I still just enjoyed seeing these two together, and all the cheesiness that happened in the last couple of episodes. Just that's the kind of cheese I like.
Nice.
I mean, some people like sharp cheddar, and John likes Darling in the Franxx. Specifically, Hiro and 02. I mean, it's just how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, like, even if they say that they have faults with the series, I hear a lot of people say that they find Hiro and 02's relationship to be, like, one of the strongest parts of the series.
Oh, yeah. Okay, moving on. Dominic.
My favorite couple of 2018 is Aine and Mio from Aikatsu Friends, because I have to plug my little girl shows in somewhere.
Tell me
Damn
about this
right.
Aikatsu Friends.
So it's called Aikatsu Friends. These two are the most borderline, like right approaching the edge kind of friends that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
Oh yeah?
the basis of the show is that the idols have to get these pairs going, and they're called friends. That's hence the name Aikatsu Friends. And the main girl Aine is like debilitating on how to ask Mio to be her friend, be in her friends, group. And that episode is the gayest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. We literally watched it after the Kasei-san OVA, and I was like, holy shit, that was really gay. Because it wasn't eclipsed by Kasei-san, which is actually legitimately gay. It was still standing right next to it, yeah, I can do that too. So that's why they're my favorite, and I find them very cute and wholesome. And I also think there's a lot of people who are like, what's it called? Bloomin' to You is the lesbian show of 2018. I'm like, no, watch Aikatsu Friends. That's the lesbian show of 2018.
There it is.
There you go.
That's your hot take.
That's my hot take. Don't watch Bloomin' to You. Watch Aikatsu Friends.
Or you can also watch Bloomin' to You. That's okay.
You can,
No.
but you should also watch Aikatsu Friends.
There we go. Craig, why don't you talk to us about your couple, about your shippu?
Agretzko, go watch the show, not just because it's an interesting show about workplace environment and all that sort of stuff, but mostly just go hoping that Haida will one day confess his feelings to Retsuko. God damn it, they're cute, but man, I don't know what else to really say. They're really fucking cute, and I root for them, and I hope that they wind up together and happy and in a better job with a better boss.
Okay. Moving on to Cammy, why don't you talk to us about your ship?
Sure. And I'm just gonna make this as intentionally awkward as possible, because did you know that your OTP can live in your heart, like almost literally?
Oh yeah.
because my OTP is white blood cell x red blood cell from Hataraku Saibo, or cells at work. This is just an odd one, but I was thinking back on it, and I loved Cells at Work. I watched it regularly through the season, and I love the dynamic that white blood cell and red blood cell have. It's one of the frontlining things of the show, where you've got just confused, ditzy little red blood cell running around trying to deliver nutrients, and then some scary germ comes, and then all of a sudden, wielding two double short blades is white blood cell, who beats the shit out of everything. And even when he's covered in blood and looks terrifying, red blood cell's always like, oh, hello, white blood cell, my good friend. She greets him with a smile, and they just have a really cute dynamic that I love, where it's one of them's cheery and sunshiny and the other one's a little stoic but has a good heart. The show even just knocks it out with a fucking backstory for these cells.
Oh yeah.
And
at
I
the
was
school.
like, I want them to hold hands. Fuck you, show. You're not going to give it to me, but I want them to hold hands. So I never expected to ship things inside of my body, but that has happened now. Thanks, Cells at Work. Thanks, 2018.
It's been an interesting year.
Yeah.
I just love the little nervous laugh you had halfway through your monologue.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very cute.
Good.
Those nervous laughs that always come with talking about your ships, whether they be canon or otherwise.
Yeah, very true.
They cute though. I've seen the show as well, and yeah, they complement complement each other really well, and their mannerisms and how they kind of bounce off each other. One being more ditzy, one being more like street smart, I suppose, and obviously one being a total spaz and kind of freaked out about every bacteria that shows up, and one being extremely aggro towards every hostile thing, much akin to what a white blood cell would be, because all a part of the immune system.
Yeah, you sent me fan art one time, and I was like, bless.
Because I know you love them, and I support all things that my friends love.
I love you, so support yourself, because I love you.
Oh. You know what? I love junk food.
Hey.
I know you do, yeah.
I do. I eat a copious. I mean, it's bad. I need to start cutting down on that junk food. But I wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to our last mini award of the evening. So we are going to be talking about that stuff that you just keep eating, even though you know it's bad for you. I.e., most of my diet. Only in this case, we're talking about anime. So the next award is called Junk Food is Sometimes Good for You, at least your soul, also known as your guilty pleasure show of 2018. So I like to give John shit, but Homeboy has a really good way to get back at me, because I also love Darling in the Franxx. So Darling in the Franxx is just, it's so fun because it shows up in a lot of places. This is not the last time we're going to be talking about Darling in the Franxx,
Nope.
guys. It not necessarily in like a bad or a good way. I'm perfectly aware that Darling in the Franxx is a bad show for a number of reasons. I'm not put down by a lot of the stuff that some people will say is in the show that is highly problematic. I can definitely acknowledge it does have some problematic elements, but at the end of the day, I'm able to, like, I'm not bothered enough by those things to really be deterred from the show. That, and I also realize the show is a narrative train wreck. It does not know how to get from station A to station B to station C in any way, shape, or form at all. Regardless, I really liked the show a lot. It was aesthetically pleasing. It had good 08K-ish music. It had really, really fun fight scenes sometimes, and the romance was cheesy and just chef kiss, like perfection amount of just oozing cheese everywhere. It even had, small spoiler, there's even this part where it has this, like, oh, we'll find each other's spirits in the next life kind of thing going on without directly going into what that means. Like, it's just purely sappy. It's really crappy. A lot of people hated it. I liked it. It was fun. I like Darling in the Franxx.
Mm-hmm.
I love sugar. I love spice.
No, you don't.
You're right, I don't. I was more going to refer that back to 02.
Oh, okay. I guess in that sense, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say I like sugar and I like spice, and that's why I like Darling in the Franxx, because you've got, like, the sappy, like, blank slate of a protagonist, of hero, and then you got the spicy fun of 02, and they just... I like the whole bullshit love will win in the end motif. It's overused. It really needs to go away, but every time it shows up, I still eat it. Like, it's like a 5-course dinner. Darling in the Franxx is a bad show. I liked it. It's my guilty pleasure of 2018. Moving on, John, let's let you talk a little bit.
So yeah, my junk food guilty pleasure anime of 2018 would have to be Toji no Miko, or Katana Maidens. I sank it and then continued to watch it anyway, because I knew it was my kind of thing, but nobody else is likely to enjoy it. It's not anything great. There have been other anime that have come out over the years that touched on, had similar plots, similar premises. Gari Zero for one, and did them so much better. But I still really enjoyed it, and I just continued to watch it maybe not as it was airing, but I did eventually watch through all of it and really enjoyed it.
All right, Dominic, you want to talk to us about some junk food?
I don't consume a lot of junk food, honestly.
Bullshit.
I mean, like in the form of anime, I don't consume a lot of junk food. Generally, if I watch something and I think it's low quality or not that great, I will probably teeter off and not watch it anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
So, my junk food award goes to Release the Spice, which isn't really it's not really that bad for you, I don't think, but it's kind of corny and silly, and it doesn't.
It's campy.
It's campy, and it's probably not going to make you sit there and ponder your life or any sort of leave you with any sort of legitimate moral questions. But it's fun and it's cute.
Craig.
Golden Kamuy. Not so much bad for you, but it's not necessarily the greatest thing for you either. It's like going to Taco Bell and getting yourself a quesarito. You eat it, but then you realize your body rejects it, but your soul really wants it. Much akin to this show, with its CG bears and its pizza fire, CG, rendered fire, when it's actually an anime. It's so weird. I've heard the show described as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure meets a Quentin Tarantino movie, because the premise is essentially, this guy from the war essentially finds an Ainu girl, and they're going after prisoners who escaped from a jail with tattoos over their bodies that are all strung together, make a map. And the map leads to a giant buried treasure, which is Ainu. And there's a whole bunch of parties going after it. So it's structured in multiple parties going after the same thing. It's a rat race. It's not necessarily the deepest of things. It's dumb. The guy literally goes in to a bear's den and survives it, but everyone else gets mauled by the CG bear. It's stupid. Season 2 is currently airing as we speak, actually. So this show actually had Season 1 in spring, and obviously Season 2 now. So, take it with a grain of salt. It is dumb fun, but if you can't get behind the CG bears or the kind of wonky ass designs, then you probably wouldn't really enjoy it as much. But I mean, Sugimoto sells it, and just seeing like I said during the impression, the Ainu culture is really fascinating. Hina, motherfuckers.
I tried watching this show. I kind of stopped at the CGI bears, wolf, and fire, but I'm picky.
Honestly, this show seems like something I would really, really like. Just from all the stuff that I've seen online, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe I should.
I mean,
you could go for it.
It's dumb fun. I mean, there's after the initial CG bear, there's far less, and I dare say I think the animation gets better as it goes along. I think they understand what the fuck they're doing, and during Season 2, I think they got a budget.
So Cammy, tell me about this show, because I've been thinking about this one. It keeps popping up on a lot of people's end of the year lists, and I'm like, really? And then you mentioned it, I think when Jazz was on for Ancient Magus Bride or something like that.
Yes.
So I'm like, what is this show? What is so appealing? What is this show? Talk to me.
This guilty pleasure show is called Gakuen Babysitters, or School Babysitters. So it was so interesting. I went into this show as a preschool teacher, and it's about a bunch of high school boys basically being preschool teachers. They're caring for 2-year-olds and more actual babies than full preschool. But it was funny because my job tended to stress me out, and yet I was watching this show about cute little fat marshmallow babies with big eyes. And they talked like this all the time. The subs even just kind of gave into that, their little baby speech. And I didn't really expect anything from it going in, but it's a show that has a lot of heart and it's really sweet. It's definitely corny, and definitely also not realistic. This falls into the category of, hey, Japan, please have kids. Look how fucking cute they are. Please have kids. So, it was a bit idealized. Like, sometimes the kids would have tantrums, but it was far more reaching to the very saccharine, like, aw, children are everything.
Please have kids. Please have kids.
Yeah. It's like a weird blend of Usagi Drop and Ouran High School Host Club. For that reason, because they're very pretty boys. There's like, they're very shippable as well. It's very like gimmicky. I think there's even a scene where the boys like are cross-dressing for a ridiculous reason. But it had a lot of heart behind it, and I really just like fell in love with a lot of the characters, both the little kids and the boys themselves. The main character's little brother is the cutest. He's just a very like quiet, over polite baby. So a lot of his personality you see is behind gestures rather than him necessarily saying much, and it's just so cute. And there's like really good family values. There's a lot about like brother relationships, parental relationships. My favorite character is the like 20-something kindergarten teacher who's just this laid-back guy who's got like a ponytail, and he's like good with kids, but he can also be really lazy or just like say like, if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna like, gonna just threaten them basically and scare them with things. Like, I'm gonna go feed you to the goats at the zoo or something. Like, just over ridiculous. I loved him so much. And yeah, this is a show that I would watch every week, and I liked it. I didn't pass it for the podcast because it's just, it's good for me. It's good if you like it, but I don't think it's like something I need to preach to the masses per se. But yeah, I would watch it, and then I'd like look up all these GIFs, and my friend Jasmine was watching it, and so I would just like, we'd exchange gift sets and be like, my babies, my boys, they're so sweet. Yeah, I ended up really liking it, and by the end I was like, I'm really gonna miss these characters, and I cried a lot because I'm susceptible to that. Like, you give me this little boy he always expresses anger towards his brother, but he just wants him to notice him, and then he cries out for his brother, and his brother notices him, and I'm just like, oh, here are my tears. There you go. Thanks.
Well, there they are.
Yeah. It's, it's very, like, emotionally manipulative, but I fell for it. And yeah, I loved it. It's a really cute show. I also want to go and read the manga because there's apparently a lot more there. But yeah, if you're in for something super, super cute, then you should go check it out.
Awesome. So that wraps up our mini awards for this episode, which is pretty exciting, actually. We had a lot of really fun conversations, and we only have one more big list to go before we close out, at least for this episode. And guess who gets to go?
Who would that be?
Who could it be? So Dominic, because they are new this year, fell right in the middle of our list. So they're going to be closing us out tonight with their top 6 list and their 2 honorable mentions. And I'm actually kind of intrigued on what your top 6 list is.
My garbage taste.
It's going to be interesting.
So, for number 6, a show very familiar to us all and has already been mentioned twice, Yuru-Camp.
I wonder if this is going to be like the My Hero Academia or the, what was it, Maid Dragon of last year, where it's on almost everybody's list.
Yes.
That'd be pretty great. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, Yuru-Camp, I don't really watch a whole lot of just like very like comfy, like just cute girls doing cute things. But I picked this up. This aired in the winter, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it aired in the winter. I remember I watched like an episode or two just out of curiosity. Not even with Cassie, and I was like, oh, this is really cute. And then I did that thing I do where I watch 2 episodes and then I never go back to something even though I liked it. And then, we always would talk and we'd always be like, oh, we need to go back and watch Yuru-Camp. And we didn't get around to ever doing that until the review started. So, yeah, Yuru-Camp is really cute and good, and it made me feel nice, and it put a smile on my face. every time we watched it. And I also bought a lot of random merchandise. I bought like 2 mugs for this show for me and Cassie. And we both bought matching wallets and a bunch of other stuff. We kind of have a problem when it comes to buying things related to Hero Camp. And I'm not sure why. But yeah, that's why it's my number 6. So my number 5 is SSSS.Gridman.
Yeah.
I'm not super big on Trigger. I didn't care for Kill la Kill. I didn't really care. I'll mention this probably in the next episode. I didn't care for Darling in the Franxx. And I liked the Little Witch Academia OVA, but like not enough to watch the TV show. I'm not too big on Trigger, even though I like everything Gainax did. But I was really excited for this show because I like dudes in rubber suits kicking each other shows. So I was excited to see this animated, and it actually is really good. And it very accurately captures the feeling of watching shows where dudes in rubber suits jump around and kick each other.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. Cassie was like over here talking about the villain and the stuff, and me, I'm just excited to sit there every Saturday morning and see the big robot man put on a drill or something and beat the monster.
Yep.
So I like Gridman. Is cool. It's my number 5. Moving on to my number 6, or my number 4. I can't count.
It's hard.
I can't count backwards. My number 4 is Hokuto Precure.
We have this. It was in the same place.
I
on
know.
our list.
Yeah. Also with Hero Camp too.
Yeah.
Hokuto. I've been watching Precure since 2012, and I've watched basically all of them, almost. I think I'm like I was like 20 episodes away from finishing Kira Precure, and that's just because me and Cassie started watching it. Anyways, that's not the point. Hokuto Precure is one of the few shows I think actually really exemplifies what a children's show should be trying to do in terms of like teaching kids like messages and, you know, imparting themes to them, while also still being really fun to watch and overall just being incredibly entertaining and trying to get kids to buy toys. So I love it a lot. It's not my favorite, but I love it a lot and I appreciate everything it does. It also had 2 really baller crossover episodes that were basically a movie.
Yeah.
So that was cool. For me, as a huge fan.
Yep.
My number 3 is Thunderbolt Fantasy 2! Whoa!
Radioactive. Radioactive.
Wrong one.
It sounds just
wrong
like
show.
it.
Wrong thing. So Thunderbolt Fantasy 2, I watched the first season of this because of this podcast, because Cassie had to watch it, and then she was like, hey, you should watch this puppet thing with me. And I was like, that sounds weird, but I'll do it anyways, because I love you. And so I watched the first season of this, and was actually pretty impressed, mainly with the very first episode. I thought after that it kind of, like, dipped. And didn't quite reach that comeback to that. I mean, I talked about this in the review. Anyways, Thunderbolt Fantasy 2 blows everything Thunderbolt Fantasy 1 did out of the water in like every single way. It's so much better. It's so much more cheesy and it's so much more fun. And I watch this almost every single Monday morning when I'm on the train to work. Like, that's my most exciting thing about Mondays, is to sit down on the train and watch Thunderbolt Fantasy 2. And every episode makes me so happy. I love this show.
So good.
Number 2 is Aikatsu Friends!
Wow, you really love this show, don't
I
you?
do, and we don't watch it, and it makes me so sad. So Aikatsu Friends is probably not a better show than Hokuto Precure. It's probably not even the best Aikatsu show, but it makes me really happy, and it's really, really colorful, and it's super cute. and it's a lot of fun, and I love it, and it's got good music, and it's just good. I don't know what else to say. Aikatsu is just it's the only idol thing that I particularly really can get into because it's just good wholesome fun and there's no stupid drama. So I love Aikatsu and it's great. And then here's my number one. Do you want to guess my number one? What do you want to guess my number one is? That's fine.
Sangatsu no Lion season 2?
Okay. What about anybody else want to guess?
I would have guessed Thunderbolt, but you blew that out of the water.
Yeah.
John, you got a guess?
Gundam Belt Divers. No.
Was that a serious guess?
I don't know.
Good lord.
What was it?
It was March Comes in Like a Lion.
Ah, yay!
Yeah. So I didn't watch the first season when it aired, and I didn't watch the second season when it aired. I watched this again for the review, because Cassie was like, "You have to watch this. You would love it," and I was like, "Okay." And we watched it very slowly over the course of the year leading up to the review, and then we like got to the end, like close to when the review was going to happen, and we kind of just binged the rest of it. But I love this show. This is seriously like one of my favorite anime ever because it's not even the type of anime I would normally watch, but it's just so much better than most other things that I do watch that I love this show and everything it does, and it's just all the characters are they're so fleshed out, and every single one of them has like a purpose or like they add something. No one feels useless. No one feels like, why is this person here? What are they even doing? Everybody feels like they have a specific spot within the show, and they all feel real, and I love this show, and it's so good. Yeah, if there's one thing I can like make anybody do by being on this podcast, it's like, hey, go watch March Comes in Like a Lion, because that shit is good. That is some good shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my... Oh, right, I still have honorable mentions.
You do.
Yeah, so for my honorable mentions, my first one is Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah.
And Devilman Crybaby is an honorable mention because it has a lot of content that makes me a little uncomfortable. Like all the sex and all the gore. So it's not quite in my like top, my top 6. But it's a dynamic pro anime made in the current year that people were actually talking about. And if you don't know what Dynamic Pro is the company that governs the properties of Go Nagai and stuff like that. So Mazinger and Cutie Honey and Devilman. And nobody ever talks about these animes when they come out. When a new like Mazinger thing comes out, the only people who talk about it are Mazinger fans. Or when a new Cutie Honey anime comes out, the only people who talk about it are people who like Cutie Honey. But people outside of that sphere were talking about and raving about Devilman Crybaby. And so I think Devilman Crybaby is super cool because it actually got people talking about this kind of stuff. And this kind of stuff is like,
Important.
It's very important, I think, to like the entire history of anime because it was there like right at the very beginning. It's like, it inspired so many things. So I think it's really cool that it came out and got so many people talking about it. My other honorable mention is not a show that aired this year, but something me and Cassie finished watching recently, and that's Mob Psycho 100.
Reagan Best Boy.
Yeah, Reagan is
No.
best boy. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You're outnumbered. So I watched One Punch Man when it aired, and I watched that religiously, and I liked it.
Yeah, same.
For some reason, I never bothered to watch Mob Psycho. But I'm glad Cassie was like, you need to watch this. You would like this because this show is phenomenal. I'm surprised this is a TV show because it looks way too good 90% of the time to even be a TV show.
Yeah.
This should be like a 6-hour-long movie. It looks that good all the time, constantly. Bones did an amazing job with the production on this show, and I'm super duper excited for season 2 if it's gonna look as good as season 1, because it looks amazing. I mean, even One Punch Man looked pretty good a lot of the time. This show looks way better, even considering that. So I'm excited. Also, all the characters are really cool. Reagan's best boy. But yeah, that's my list. Hope you enjoyed it.
Woo! Okay, so unless anybody has any closing statements, I think we might get out of here. We are going to have a part 2 that is going to be airing next week. So if you are intrigued about Craig's list and Cammy's list, in addition to more mini awards, we will be airing that episode next week, and I am so excited to hear about them. I'm so psyched, and it was really fun to hear about your guys' stuff too.
Yeah.
Everybody's mini awards, but in addition to your guys' lists, I think everybody really, really put a lot of thought into it this year, and I'm excited.
Yay!
I'm excited. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Anime is for jerks, and we're all jerks, but we have good
Excuse you?
opinions.
Excuse you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cammy's not a jerk.
Yeah.
You're right. No,
No.
you're right. Cammy's a fucking angel. The rest of us are jerks.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wow.
I am just the worst.
So, guys, if you want to experience some more self-confidence, tune in next week. It'll be great. I'm confident about it.
Bye.
Oyasumi, guys.
Bye bye.
Boy.
Oh my